All right, for this video, I wanted to discuss one of the design activities that we were given for this course. And so in this activity, we looked at Connect type activities specifically. And our text, e-learning by Horton, suggests that Connect activities help learners close the gap between learning and the rest of their lives. It goes on to suggest that if the purpose is to link to something already known or prompt application of learning, it is a Connect activity. So let's dive into my specific piece of this activity. So we took company policies and regulations, and we wanted to deliver those company policies and regulations to our new employees. And specifically in this context, we wanted to create Connect activities. So in this case, in Objective 4, Module 4 of this training, I focused on three objectives. Employees were going to be able to describe their experience within the company as it pertains to their work environment and the company policies and regulations. Employees were going to listen and label violations of company policy and regulations presented by their peers. And the employees were finally going to generate questions for their peers regarding policies and regulations. So to dive deeper into this, first of all, we had a stories by learner activity. We had placed all of this learning within the Canvas learning management system, which has an incredibly robust discussion tool that allows for learners to engage in discussion. So specifically with this activity, it was asking learners, in this case, new employees, or employees that were already employed there, to share stories of personal experiences that they had had within the company or within other companies, and just provide stories of times when they felt that company policies or procedures had been violated. And a safe environment would be created to successfully do this. So this would be a discussion, this part of the discussion, supervisors and individuals with hiring and firing power would probably not be a part of this. They would not be involved. They would be, of course, looking at things and analyzing, but they would not necessarily be injecting themselves into these things. Now, they could provide their own stories to help, get learners in the mood, so to speak, to tell these stories. That might be helpful. But specifically looking at the learning technology in Canvas, learners could provide multimedia telling of stories in the form of a multimedia presentation, of just audio. And if learners aren't comfortable with that, the discussion tool also allows for them to provide text if they would like. And so that's one other option that they have as well. So the second activity, outside of the learners providing these stories, would also then be for the learners to go back and review these stories of their peers and their colleagues, and to ponder and reply to the stories of the policy and regulations that may have been broken. So this allows for the learners to go back to their learning and take what they've learned about the company policies and regulations and apply them to these real world scenarios that their colleagues have experienced. In this case, Canvas also has the ability to like posts within the discussions, which what this would allow for the teachers, for the presenters to do, is to see where the new employees and current employees feel that violations have occurred the most often. Especially if bringing in stories from other companies that they've worked for or things like that. This would be a great way for the management to figure out where they may want to focus their efforts in regards to looking at violations of their policies and things. This would also allow for learners to not feel alone. So as people liked their comments, they would feel that they had support within the company. Someone else had gone through an experience that they had also gone through. And so this really adds a social element that I think is really crucial and important to online engagement and to getting this message across. This is something that could be really boring and just kind of reading through material and trying to remember all these policy and regulations, but this really makes it real for people. So finally, the last activity that they accomplish is they move into kind of a different discussion board where they have the opportunity to ask and to answer questions. They can ask and answer questions of and from their peers, but they can also ask questions to management. And this is where this is the point where management can really interject and can really address specific things and specific issues, especially if there are current employees that express a concern or an incident that may have occurred within the company. And so this is a really great way for the managers to break that veil, so to speak, and to come out into the forefront and to specifically address some of the concerns of the employees. And so a final note on this, kind of in regards to my own teaching philosophy, I really think that these activities really focus on the community of inquiry. And I think this is one of the biggest pieces that was taken from my time in this class and focusing on instructional design. I think for me as a teacher, this is such a crucial piece that I think we as faculty of higher ed forget sometimes and struggle with, especially this social presence. As we've moved online as faculty that are used to being in face-to-face classes, they've struggled with creating social presence online, but it's so crucial. And I think with these Connect activities and the other Connect activities presented in the class and in the book, this allows for faculty members online to create these really positive and powerful activities to generate engagement of students. And so I think these three activities that I discussed really fit into this community of inquiry by setting a climate, supporting discourse, and of course selecting content. But I think the two pieces that these activities apply to are the supporting discourse and setting a climate. And I think that's so crucial, especially when dealing with humans, as we are. In regards to creating that social presence. And I think when talking about rules and regulations and company policies, that social presence is so important, but is so often overlooked. And so I think these activities lend to that and would make for a really engaging online experience.